Hey there. Today I watched the new film Holland and now I want to tell you about it. It's a mystery thriller about a woman and her friend trying to catch her husband in an affair and finding a dark secret. Andrew Sadrowski wrote the screenplay and Mimi Cave directed the film. It stars Nicole Kidman as Nancy, Gael Garcia Bernal as her friend Dave, and Matthew Macfadyen as her husband, Fred. Holland is a fast-paced soap opera. It has ridiculous twists and turns, loud dramatic music, and solid acting. The visual journey is also quite well done with a few eye-popping moments to enjoy. Starting with the story. It opens by introducing us to the quaint little town of Holland, Michigan. A backwater town with lots of old-fashioned traditions. Then we meet the main character Nancy and get introduced to the film's first mystery. From there on, the film follows Nancy and her friend Dave as they chase after clues hoping to find evidence of her husband's torrid sexual affairs. The story throws twist after twist at you. All of them are ridiculous, dramatic, and fun. The story is fairly easy to follow along with, and while ridiculous, most of it makes sense. There is a little bit of an issue with the final twist, but it's forgivable. The story is fairly exciting all the way through though, with a little bit of a romantic affair, a lot of mystery, and some unexpected violent action in the finale. Cast-wise, there's 3 real roles and a bunch of supporting extras who get a line or two. The extras are great, and add a nice touch of flavor now and again. I laughed pretty hard at the one friend who couldn't tell a lie to save her life and the old lady who bumped into her own car. For the big 3 roles, you have Nicole Kidman, Gael Garcia Bernal, and Matthew Macfadyen. Nicole Kidman's Nancy is an old-fashioned woman. Outwardly, she's sweet and innocent, but deep down, she's an adventurous person with an inquisitive mind. Kidman gets to do a lot of overdramatic reactions and has a decent romance plotline with Gael Garcia Bernal, and closes out the film with a big finish. She plays the emotions well, and has decent chemistry with Bernal. Gael Garcia Bernal plays Dave, a co-worker and friend of Nancy. He's an outsider in Holland like Nancy, and has a bit of a crush on her after working together. When she asks him to help her, he's quick to answer, but reveals a few dark secrets of his own during the investigation. Bernal plays the emotional journey excellently. He presents a naive but haunted man that wants to do the right thing but can't because of his situation. Bernal gets passionate with Kidman and gets to do a few action-style scenes here and there. He does all of it pretty wonderfully. Matthew Macfadyen gets to play the boring husband who seems great on paper. He's got a good job, he doesn't fight with his wife, and he spends all his free time building a model town with his son. I don't want to spoil too much about the film, but later he gets to diverge from this safe, comfortable visage that he dons and shows off an impressive flip of the switch. Macfadyen plays the emotional aspects to the letter and delivers a solid performance. Visually, the film takes us all over a small town setting. We visit the local high school, spend time at Nancy's home, and then follow them on their investigation through the city. Most of the places they visit are normal, everyday locations without much appeal, but they do a good job of telling the story in a clear and concise way. They also have a lot of big scenes throughout the film that are spiced up in one way or another. For example, there are nightmare sequences for both Nancy and Dave that employ a few practical effects. They're wonderfully trippy scenes with a horrific vibe to them. There's also a lot of big conversational moments where they set a pretty picture and do a great job of capturing the characters' expressions and body language. These scenes get across the romance storyline that takes place, and do a great job of supporting it. Finally, there's a few action-style moments. A little B&E, a small fight, and a mildly gruesome murder. Action isn't a huge element of the film, but they did a good job with these moments and giving them the impact that they deserve. Sound-wise, the film employs complex scored orchestral instrumentals. They permeate every single moment of the film and sometimes mildly drown out the dialogue. The tracks have an epic, classical sound to them similar to films like Jurassic Park or Lord of the Rings. They follow the emotional storyline beat for beat and try to amplify all of it. They do a good job of supporting the story but tend to make things feel highly dramatic and a little silly. Which brings me to the negatives for this film. The characters are highly stereotypical and overdramatic. The cast does a great job with the roles, but their performances end up being a little bit forgettable because of how they're called to do it. When everything is dramatic, nothing is. The music is also a bit much. It never stops pumping sound into your brain, and sometimes they need to take a break and just let the scene speak for itself. There weren't a lot of times where it interfered with the dialogue, but I hate when it happens even once. Personally, I found this film to be quite enjoyable. It is another torrid love affair gone wrong. But hey, they did it well. The visual journey is solid with a few good moments. The soundtrack brings a lot of emotion to the table. The story is filled with excitement, and the cast delivers solid performances. It may not be original, but if you're looking for something to watch for entertainment, this will do nicely. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 7 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye bye.